The locker room smelled of sweat and ambition, a place where dreams were forged in the clanging of weights and the rhythm of pounding feet. Eli Carter, barely 20, stood frozen, his heart hammering as he stared at the phone in his hand, a phone that wasn't his. It was Captain Ryan Holtz, the star of the Lincoln University football team, and its screen glowed with a secret that could unravel everything Eli had fought to keep hidden. Eli's breath caught as he glanced at the open messaging app. A single text, sent to someone named Jay. Read, "I can't keep pretending. I'm in love with him, and it's killing me." His stomach churned. This wasn't just any secret, it was Ryan's. The golden boy whose confidence lit up every room, whose charm made even the toughest coaches smile. Eli's own phone, now likely in Ryan's hands, held his own confession, a journal entry about his hopeless crush on the team captain, written in a moment of reckless honesty. The swap had happened in the chaos of practice, their gym bags tossed side by side, phones mistaken in a rush. Now, Eli's carefully guarded world teetered on the edge of exposure. He shoved the phone into his pocket, his mind racing. Lincoln, Nebraska, wasn't exactly a haven for guys like him. Small-town roots ran deep, and the football team was practically a religion. Eli had joined the team as a walk-on freshman, not because he loved the game, but because it was his ticket to a scholarship, a way out of his father's expectations and his hometown's suffocating judgment. Being gay wasn't something you shouted about here, not when every other conversation in the stands was laced with slurs or sermons. He'd kept his head down, worked hard, and buried his feelings for Ryan beneath layers of sarcasm and distance. But now, Ryan held Eli's truth, and Eli held his. The locker room door swung open, and Ryan strode in, his broad shoulders filling the space. His blue eyes locked onto Eli, sharp and unreadable. "Carter," he said, his voice low, almost a growl. "We need to talk." Eli's knees buckled, but he forced himself to stand taller. "About what?" he asked, feigning ignorance, though his pulse thundered in his ears. Ryan stepped closer, holding Eli's phone like it was a live grenade. "You know what?" His voice softened, but there was an edge to it, like he was wrestling with something bigger than both of them. "I saw it. Your journal." Eli's face burned. He wanted to bolt, to disappear into the Nebraska cornfields and never face this moment. But Ryan's gaze held him, not with judgment, but with something else, something that made Eli's heart stutter. "And I saw yours." Eli shot back, his voice barely above a whisper. "So what now, Captain?" Ryan's jaw tightened, and for a moment, they stood in silence, the weight of their secrets hanging between them. The locker room, with its chipped paint and flickering lights, felt like a battlefield. Eli had spent years hiding who he was, dodging his teammates' crude jokes, pretending to laugh when they bragged about their conquests. Ryan, though, was untouchable, the guy who could do no wrong, who led the team to victory and had half the campus swooning. If Ryan was hiding the same truth, what did that mean for them both? "I didn't mean for you to see that," Ryan said finally, his voice cracking. "But maybe it's not the worst thing." Eli blinked, unsure if he'd heard right. "Not the worst thing." "Ryan, this could ruin you." "Me? I'm nobody. I'm used to keeping my head down. But you're the face of this team." Ryan's laugh was bitter. "You think I don't know that? You think I haven't spent every day of my life trying to be what everyone expects?" He ran a hand through his dark hair, his composure fraying. "I'm tired, Eli. Tired of pretending I'm someone I'm not." The confession hit Eli like a linebacker. He'd always seen Ryan as invincible, a guy who had it all together. But now, standing close enough to see the faint freckles across Ryan's nose, Eli realized the captain was just as scared, just as human. "So what do we do?" Eli asked, his voice steadier now. We can't just pretend this didn't happen. Ryan's eyes searched his, and for the first time, Eli saw something raw hope. Maybe. Or fear. We figure it out, Ryan said. Together. The word hung in the air, heavy with possibility. Eli's mind spun with questions. Was Ryan serious? Could they trust each other with secrets this big? And what happened when the rest of the team or the world found out? The locker room felt smaller now, the walls closing in. But Ryan's presence was a lifeline, a spark in the dark. As they stood there, phones still clutched in their hands, Eli felt the first stirrings of something new, not just fear, but courage. Maybe this accident wasn't a disaster. Maybe it was the start of something neither of them could have imagined. The Nebraska sky was bruising purple as Eli and Ryan stepped out of the athletic complex, their breath visible in the crisp autumn air. They hadn't spoken since leaving the locker room, the weight of their shared secrets pressing down like the coming storm. Eli glanced at Ryan, whose jaw was set, eyes fixed on the horizon as if it held answers neither of them could find. They walked to a quiet corner of campus, a bench tucked under a gnarled oak tree, far from the floodlights of the practice field. Eli's phone, Ryan's, technically burned a hole in his pocket. He wanted to hand it back, to erase the last hour, but something stopped him. Ryan's text to Jay kept looping in his mind. I'm in love with him. Who was him? The question gnawed at Eli, stirring a dangerous mix of jealousy and hope. Give me your phone, Ryan said, breaking the silence. His voice was steady now, but his hands trembled as he extended Eli's phone toward him. Eli hesitated, then pulled Ryan's phone from his pocket. They swapped devices, the exchange feeling like a pact sealed in silence. Eli's fingers brushed Ryan's during the swap, and the brief contact sent a jolt through him. He shoved his hands into his jacket, avoiding Ryan's gaze. So, what now? He asked. We just pretend we didn't see anything. Ryan leaned forward, elbows on his knees, staring at the ground. I don't know, Eli. I've spent my whole life pretending. My dad, the team, this town, they all expect me to be the guy who's got it all figured out. But I don't. He looked up, his blue eyes catching the last light of dusk. I saw what you wrote about me. About how you feel. Eli's heart stopped. He'd written that journal entry late at night, alone in his dorm, pouring out feelings he'd never dared say aloud. Ryan Holt is everything I shouldn't want strong. Fearless. Untouchable. But when he smiles, I forget how to breathe. The words had felt safe in the dark, but now they were a blade held to his throat. I didn't mean for you to read that, Eli mumbled, his face hot despite the chill. It was private. So was mine, Ryan said, his voice soft but firm. But maybe it's better this way. No more hiding. Eli laughed, a sharp, nervous sound. Easy for you to say. You're the captain. People worship you. Me. I'm just the kid who's good at kicking field goals. If this gets out, I'm done. Ryan's eyes darkened. You think I'm not scared? My dad's a pastor. Eli. He thinks being gay is a sin you can pray away. If he finds out, I lose everything, me family. My scholarship. My future. He paused, his voice dropping to a whisper. But keeping it in, it's killing me. The rawness in Ryan's voice cracked something open in Eli. He'd spent so long seeing Ryan as a symbol untouchable, perfect, that hearing his fear felt like discovering a new language. Who's Jay? Eli asked, the question slipping out before he could stop it. Ryan's face tightened, but he didn't look away. Jace. My best friend from high school. He's the only one who knows, or knew, until now. He hesitated, then added, he's straight. Doesn't feel the same way. Eli's chest ached, not just for Ryan, but for himself. They were both trapped, carrying feelings that could destroy them in a town that didn't forgive differences. But sitting there, under the oak's sprawling branches, Eli felt a spark of defiance. "So what do we do?" he asked again, this time with more resolve. "We can't just sit on this." Ryan straightened, his captain's confidence flickering back. "We start small. We trust each other. No one else needs to know, not yet." He reached out, his hand hovering near Eli's before pulling back. "I don't want to lose this, whatever this is." Eli's breath hitched. Was Ryan saying what he thought he was? The air between them crackled, charged with unspoken possibilities. "Okay," Eli said, his voice barely audible. "But we need rules. No more accidents. No more secrets slipping out." Ryan nodded, a small smile breaking through. "Deal. And maybe we figure out what this means. For us." The word "us" hung in the air, fragile but electric. Eli wanted to ask 1,000 questions. Did Ryan feel the same way? Was this just fear talking, or something more? But the moment felt too delicate to push. Instead, he stood, brushing leaves from his jeans. "Come on, Captain. It's getting cold." As they walked back toward the dorms, Eli felt the weight of Ryan's phone in his pocket. No longer a threat, but a promise. The campus was quiet, the storm clouds gathering overhead. But for the first time in years, Eli didn't feel alone. Whatever came next, exposure, heartbreak, or something better, and Ryan would face it together. The next week passed in a blur of practice drills and stolen glances. Eli couldn't shake the memory of Ryan's smile under the oak tree, the way his voice had softened when he said "us." But the locker room was a different world, where teammates' laughter and crude jokes reminded Eli how precarious their secret was. He and Ryan had agreed to keep things quiet, but every shared look felt like a shout. Eli was lacing up his cleats when Ryan approached, his usual swagger tempered by something new: caution, maybe, or hope. "Carter, you're with me for extra drills today," Ryan said, loud enough for the team to hear. A few guys snickered, assuming the captain was hazing the walk-on. But Eli caught the glint in Ryan's eye. This was a cover, a way to talk without raising suspicion. On the field, under the glare of the stadium lights, Ryan tossed Eli a water bottle. "You okay?" he asked, his voice low. "You've been quiet." Eli shrugged, wiping sweat from his brow. "Just trying not to screw this up. You know how it is." He gestured vaguely at the team, the stands, the weight of expectation. Ryan nodded, his gaze lingering. "Yeah. But we're in this together, right?" The words steadied Eli, but doubt crept in. Together meant risk, and risk meant exposure. He'd seen what happened to guys who didn't fit the mold: whispers, cold shoulders, or worse. Last year, a senior had been outed after a drunken party, and by morning, his locker was spray-painted with slurs. Eli couldn't imagine Ryan facing that, not when he carried the team's hopes on his shoulders. Their drills stretched late, the rest of the team long gone. As they jogged laps, Ryan spoke again. "I told Jace about the swap. Not everything. Just enough." His voice was tight, like he was testing the waters. Eli's stomach twisted. "And he's cool with it. Said he's got my back." Ryan's smile was faint but genuine. "He thinks I should tell you how I feel." Eli nearly tripped over his own feet. "How you feel?" he echoed, his heart pounding louder than their footsteps. Ryan slowed, turning to face him. The field was empty, the night pressing in around them. "I've been trying to figure it out for months. You're different, Eli. You don't care about the spotlight. You just do your thing, and it's real." He paused, his breath visible in the cold. I think I'm falling for you. The words hit Eli like a freight train. He'd dreamed of this, written about it in that cursed journal, but hearing it from Ryan's lips was surreal. You're serious? He asked, his voice shaking. Because if this is a joke, I swear, it's not. Ryan cut in, stepping closer. I'm scared as hell, but I mean it. Eli's mind raced. He wanted to grab Ryan, to kiss him right there under the stadium lights. But fear held him back. They were exposed, vulnerable, and the world wasn't kind to guys like them. We can't do this here, he said, glancing around. Not now. Ryan's face fell, but he nodded. I know, but I needed to say it. They finished their laps in silence, the weight of Ryan's confession settling between them. As they headed back to the locker room, Eli's phone buzzed. A text from his roommate. Matt, heard you and Holt were cozy on the field. Careful, man. People talk. Eli's blood ran cold. He showed Ryan the text, and the captain's jaw clenched. Matt's a gossip, Ryan said. But we need to be smarter. No more late-night drills. Eli nodded, but the warning lingered. They were playing a dangerous game, and the stakes were climbing. As they parted ways, Ryan's hand brushed Eli's arm, a fleeting touch that promised more. Eli walked back to his dorm alone, the night air sharp against his skin, wondering how long they could keep their truth hidden. Eli couldn't sleep. Ryan's words, I think I'm falling for you, echoed in his head, a melody he couldn't shake. But Matt's text was a warning shot, a reminder that their secret was a ticking bomb. By morning, whispers were already spreading through the team. Subtle but sharp, Carter and Holt are spending too much time together. Eli felt the eyes on him during practice, teammates' glances laced with suspicion. He avoided Ryan all day, sticking to the edges of the group, his head down. But Ryan wasn't having it. After practice, he cornered Eli in the equipment room, the air thick with the smell of leather and metal. You're dodging me, Ryan said, his voice low but firm. What's going on? Eli's throat tightened. People are talking. Ryan. Matt saw us. Others probably did too. We can't keep acting like this is normal. Ryan's eyes flashed with frustration. Normal? Nothing about this is normal. But I'm not going to let gossip scare me off. He stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. I meant what I said last night. I want Thysis. Eli's heart raced, torn between fear and longing. And what happens when the team finds out? When your dad finds out? You think they'll just cheer us on? His voice cracked. I've seen what happens to guys like us. It's not a fairy tale. Ryan's face softened, but his resolve didn't waver. Then we fight for it. We don't let them win. He reached for Eli's hand, but Eli pulled back, glancing at the door. Not here, Eli hissed. We need a plan, not just feelings. Ryan nodded, his expression grim. Fine. Meet me tonight. Off campus. The old diner on 27th Street. No one from the team goes there. Eli hesitated, then agreed. That night, he slipped out of his dorm, pulling his hoodie tight against the October chill. The diner was a relic, its neon sign flickering, the booths empty except for a lone waitress reading a paperback. Ryan was already there, in a corner booth, his face half lit by a buzzing fluorescent light. They ordered coffee, the cups steaming between them. We need to be careful, Eli said, his voice low. No more hanging out where people can see us. No more texts that could get us in trouble. Ryan leaned forward, his eyes intense. I get it. But I'm not going to pretend I don't feel this. I've spent too long doing that. He reached across the table, his fingers grazing Eli's. This time, Eli didn't pull away. The touch was electric, grounding Eli in a way he hadn't expected. They talked for hours. About their fears, their families, the lives they'd hidden. Ryan spoke of his father's sermons, the pressure to be the perfect son. Eli shared stories of his small-town childhood, where being different meant being invisible. The diner became a sanctuary, a place where they could be honest, if only for a night. As they left, Ryan paused under the diner's awning. "I don't know how this ends," he said, his voice soft. "But I know I don't want to lose you." Eli's chest tightened. He wanted to believe in Ryan's courage, in the possibility of them. But as they walked back into the night, the world beyond the diner felt like a minefield, ready to explode with one wrong step. The rumors grew louder, a low hum that followed Eli through the halls and onto the field. Teammates' glances lingered too long, their jokes sharper, testing him. Eli kept his distance from Ryan, but it was like trying to outrun his own shadow. Every practice, every huddle, Ryan's presence pulled at him, a magnet he couldn't resist. One afternoon, Matt cornered Eli in the dorm. "What's going on with you and Holt?" he asked, his tone half curious, half accusing. "People are saying you're too tight." Eli's stomach dropped, but he forced a laugh. "We're just teammates. Man, you know how it is, captain's got to keep us in line." Matt didn't look convinced, but he let it go. Eli knew it was only a matter of time before someone pushed harder. That night, he met Ryan at the diner again, their new refuge. Ryan looked worn, the weight of the season and their secret etching lines into his face. "We can't keep sneaking around like this," Eli said, stirring his coffee. "It's only a matter of time before someone figures it out." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Then maybe we stop hiding. Maybe we tell the truth." Eli's eyes widened. "Are you crazy? You think the team's going to throw us a parade? Your dad will disown you. My scholarship's gone if this gets out." Ryan leaned back, his expression torn. "I know, but I can't keep living like this. Eli, I want to be with you, out in the open. I want to stop looking over my shoulder." The words were a lifeline, but they terrified Eli. He'd spent his life building walls, protecting himself from a world that didn't accept him. Letting them down for Ryan meant risking everything. "I need time," he said finally. "I'm not ready to lose it all." Ryan's face fell, but he nodded. "Okay, but I'm not going anywhere." The next day, disaster struck. During practice, Eli's phone buzzed in his bag, left open in the locker room. When he checked it later, his heart stopped at a screenshot of his journal entry. The one about Ryan was circulating in a group chat with half the team. Someone had gotten hold of it, and now it was spreading like wildfire. Eli confronted Ryan after practice, his voice shaking with panic. "They know. Someone saw my phone. It's out there." Ryan's face paled, but he grabbed Eli's shoulders. "We'll handle this. Together." But as they stood there, the locker room door swung open, and Matt walked in, his phone in hand, a smirk on his face. "You two got some explaining to do," he said, holding up the screenshot. The locker room felt like a trap, the walls closing in as Matt stood there, his smirk ablaze. Eli's heart pounded so hard he thought it might burst. Ryan stepped forward, his voice steady despite the storm in his eyes. "What's your problem, Matt?" Matt held up his phone, the screenshot glowing accusingly. "This? You and Carter, all lovey-dovey. The team's blowing up about it." He laughed, but it was cold. "Didn't peg you for that type, Captain." Eli's knees buckled, but Ryan's hand on his arm kept him upright. "It's none of your business," Ryan said, his voice low and dangerous. "Delete it." Matt shrugged, unfazed. "Too late. It's out there. You think the team's gonna follow a captain who's he stopped. But the unspoken word hung in the air. Eli wanted to disappear, to erase himself from this moment. But Ryan didn't flinch. If you've got a problem with me, say it to my face, he said. But you don't get to ruin us. Matt's smirk faltered, but he backed off, muttering something about the coach hearing about this. As the door slammed behind him, Eli turned to Ryan, his voice trembling. This is it. We're done. Ryan's eyes blazed. No, we're not. We fight this. We don't let them win. But Eli wasn't so sure. That night, he skipped the diner, hiding in his dorm, his phone off to avoid the flood of notifications. He couldn't face Ryan, not when the team's group chat was exploding with slurs and memes. By morning, the news had spread beyond the team, whispers following Eli across campus. He avoided the athletic complex, skipping practice for the first time in his life. Ryan found him that afternoon, sitting under their oak tree, his face buried in his hands. You can't run from this, Ryan said, sitting beside him. We're in it together. Remember? Eli's voice cracked. I didn't sign up for this. I just wanted to play football, get my degree, get out. Now I'm a target. Ryan's hand found his, squeezing tight. You're not alone. I'm here. And I'm not ashamed of you. The words broke something in Eli, tears spilling over. He leaned into Ryan, their foreheads touching, the world fading away for a moment. But reality crashed back when Ryan's phone buzzed a text from his dad. We need to talk. Now. Ryan's face drained of color as he read the text. Eli felt the air shift, the weight of Ryan's fear matching his own. He knows, Ryan whispered, his voice hollow. Someone told him. Eli's stomach churned. What are you going to do? Ryan stood, pacing under the oak tree. I have to face him. I can't keep running. He looked at Eli, his eyes pleading. Come with me. Please. Eli wanted to say no, to stay safe in the shadows. But Ryan's vulnerability pulled at him. Okay, he said, his voice barely audible. But this is crazy. They drove to Ryan's childhood home, a modest house on the edge of Lincoln, its lawn dotted with faded campaign signs for Ryan's dad's church. Pastor Holt was waiting on the porch, his face a mask of disapproval. Eli stayed in the car, his heart racing, as Ryan approached his father. The conversation was heated, voices rising through the open window. You're throwing everything away, Pastor Holt shouted. For what? Sin. Ryan's voice was steady but raw. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm being honest. I love him, Dad. Eli's breath caught. Ryan had said it, out loud, to the one person who could break him. Pastor Holt's face twisted, and he turned away, slamming the door behind him. Ryan stood there, shoulders slumped, before walking back to the car. He's done with me, Ryan said, his voice flat as he slid into the driver's seat. Told me not to come back. Eli reached for his hand, his own fear forgotten. I'm sorry. Ryan shook his head. Don't be. It's better this way. I'm free. But freedom came at a cost. The next day, the coach called Ryan into his office. Eli waited outside, his nerves frayed. When Ryan emerged, his face was grim. I'm benched for the next game. Coach says it's for the team's focus. Eli's heart sank. This is my fault. No, Ryan said fiercely. It's theirs. They don't get to decide who we are. That night, they met at the diner, their booth a lifeline. Ryan reached across the table, his fingers intertwining with Eli's. We'll get through this, he said. But we need to be smart. No more hiding. But no more risks either. Eli nodded, but the fear lingered. They were outcasts now, their secrets no longer theirs. But as Ryan's hand held his, Eli felt a flicker of hope. Maybe they could rewrite their story. Together. The weeks that followed were a crucible. The team shunned Ryan. Their once revered captain, now a pariah. Eli faced his own battle sneers in the halls. A slashed tire on his bike, but he refused to break. He and Ryan leaned on each other. Their bond a quiet rebellion against the world's judgment. One night, Eli found a note slipped under his dorm door. Meet us at the field. Midnight. Jace. His heart raced. Jace, Ryan's best friend, had been silent since the swap. Was this a trap? He texted Ryan, and they agreed to go together. Wary but determined. The field was dark, the stands empty, but Jace stood under the goalpost. Alone. I'm not here to cause trouble, he said, his voice steady. I want to help. Jace had rallied a few teammates, guys who'd seen Ryan's leadership and refused to turn on him. They'd started a petition to reinstate Ryan as captain, risking their own reputations. Eli's eyes stung with gratitude. Why? He asked. Because you're good people, Jace said simply. And this team needs you both. The petition didn't fix everything. Some teammates never came around, and Ryan's dad remained distant. But at the season's final game, Ryan was back on the field, leading the team to a hard-fought victory. Eli, from the sidelines, kicked the winning field goal, the crowd's cheers drowning out the whispers. After the game, under the stadium lights, Ryan pulled Eli close, not caring who saw. We made it, he whispered, his breath warm against Eli's ear. Eli smiled, his heart full. Yeah, we did. They walked off the field hand in hand, their secrets no longer a burden but a badge of courage. The world wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, and they'd fight for it together.